the throwback weekend in Darlington. Out of all the paint schemes in all the history of NASCAR, you could have chosen any of them. You chose 1989 Davey Allison. Why?
Well, still am. Always been a fan of the sport, obviously, and not only the sport, but the history of the sport. You know, I've always enjoyed just reading about how the sport came about and the icons of our sport and who really molded NASCAR into what it is today. And you know, Davey was a guy who I really think had he had more time in NASCAR, I think the face of NASCAR would be very different. Not only that, but I like the paint scheme as well. You know, I always thought it was a great looking car.
Coming to the stripe, Davey Allison is going to win the Daytona 500.
I want to dedicate this race to my dad. We're just tickled to death to be here in Victory Lane. This is another one for the old man.
What's it going to be like to see a car out there like that, to see a Davey Allison paint scheme again?
That's going to just really, really be good. Remember, gas pedal on the floor, turn left.
That's right. That's right.
You were born well after Davey stopped racing and didn't race anymore. What's it like sitting next to his father?
It's pretty cool just to sit down and be able to talk about it. I mean, I've always been interested in his career and really, you know, how he got his start. I guess, did he come to you and say, hey, I want to start racing, or was it something you kind of gave him the choice of? Or
Davey was such a delight from a little tiny guy. In fact, I've said many times that the very first noise I heard out of Davey Allison about midnight one night, Judy had made a car seat before those things were available. And so he's sitting between me and her on the seat of the truck, and we're going to the next race down the road somewhere, and he goes, Udden. He's ready.
You guys are obviously racers. You can bond over Davey like this. You share something else in your lives, and that's unfortunately loss. You lost your son. You've lost a father. What would you tell Erik about loss and living with that and dealing with it throughout a career as he grows older?
That never goes away. When that happens, you have that with you the rest of your life. First lost Clifford, you know, which a lot of people, keyed so much on Davey because he was so popular and was so successful, where Clifford was just starting when he died. And Clifford died in the race car, where Davey died in the helicopter crash. But you have to just keep going to the next deal. You
had to learn that at a young age.
It's just so different when you share a bond over something, whether it be racing or anything else. But obviously my dad and I enjoyed racing so much. You know, it was just as much fun for me to see his enjoyment as it was for me to drive the race car. You know, I loved seeing him get excited and be a part of it. So, you know, going to the racetrack after that happened, it was just totally different.
Time does have a healing process to it. It doesn't heal it all the way, I don't think. It hasn't for me, but it certainly has made things ease up, made the agony ease up.
Do you get more enjoyment out of racing yourself or watching your sons race, you think?
That's probably an unfair question for some young guy like you to ask some old guy like me. Because as I look back and remember things, I enjoyed my own the most.
That's right.
You have the future of the sport sitting next to you. Anything you want to ask him?
Are you ready to commit yourself?
It's definitely, the Cup Series has been a total new level of commitment. You know, you race in trucks and Xfinity, and there's commitment involved, obviously, but when you get to the Cup level, it's definitely been an eye-opener for me to see really what it takes to be successful at that level. And it took me a minute to figure it all out, but as I got into it, I definitely, as the year has went on, am 100% ready to commit myself to do what it takes.
That's it.